No smiling allowed. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Live to Learn. This is Doug Montezella, joined with Morgan Sanders. Thank you for coming on. Today we have an episode of Lessons Worth Sharing. So Morgan volunteered very kindly to share a life lesson. So what do you got for us?
Okay, so I thought a lot about what I could share from my many years of wisdom.
Great.
And what has affected me the most in my life, I would say in my recent life, was about 2.5 years in of working. I went to a conference and I was surrounded by all these people who were just super, super passionate about what they were doing.
Okay.
They loved their jobs. There was nothing they could imagine doing differently from what they were doing. And I kind of looked at myself and I thought, do I feel that way about what I'm doing? And I had been working for 2.5 years and I'd had lots of people that I grew up with saying, hey, how's Exxon? Do you like it? Or do you like your job? And I was like, yeah, I don't dislike it. It's fun. There's cool stuff. There's cool people. Do you like Houston? Yeah, it's cool. There's lots of stuff to do. But I had never really sat down and thought, do I really like what I'm doing? What are the things that I really care about? What do I like in a city that I'm living in? What do I dislike? And so I had this kind of moment where it felt like the ground just dropped out from underneath me, and I thought everything that I've been thinking for the last 2.5 years has been a lie. And not necessarily a lie, but I really hadn't taken the time to really look at myself, and then all of a sudden I thought, do I really like what I'm doing? Is this somewhere that I want to be? What do I want to be doing 5 years from now? I had no idea.
And you knew that this conference was like a self-discovery type of conference, or
no? It was just like it was just going to see what people were working on. So it had nothing to do with where I was at that conference. It was more just kind of like it made me look a little inward in a way that I hadn't ever really done before.
Okay.
And so I think that I've talked about this with a lot of people actually, and I've found that a lot of people feel really similarly that when you're growing up, you go to elementary school, you go to middle school, you go to high school. You build your resume up, you volunteer, and then you get into a good college. And then when you're at college, you do well in school, and you volunteer, and you build up your resume, and then you get a job. And that's the ultimate goal. So you achieve that at 22 to 24 years of age, and then what do you do for the next 60 years of your life? So you kind of you get there, and then you've reached your goal, and then there's nothing else really that you've been working your whole life for. For me at least, that was, I made it, and then I was like, well, what am I doing now?
Yep.
So I think it's really important for you to know who you are. And that was something that I think I was missing. And so I had a work mentor that I went and talked to. I actually cried in his office. I was like, what am I doing with my life? And he recommended that I go see a career counselor, which was interesting and very expensive. But I went, and I'm really, really glad that I did. Not so much to find a new career, because obviously I'm still at Exxon and I'm not unhappy with where I am, but it was a really great experience of kind of self-discovery, if you will.
Okay, so what kind of came out of that?
So the first thing that we did was take the myers-briggs Personality Test, which I'd never actually taken before.
Yep.
And I was intrigued. So we took it, and my results were actually almost exactly straight down the middle on all 4 of the characteristics.
That makes a lot of sense.
So I was like, well, what does this mean? And she said, honestly, when I see people with results like this, it's someone who just hasn't quite figured out who they are yet. And I thought, well, what does that mean? I'm a person. I know
went deep
who I am.
From the
it did.
Cancer. Absolutely.
Yeah. So as we were going through the test and talking about the questions, I realized that I had never really asked myself a lot of these questions as really, what do I feel about those things? I knew
maybe a couple of examples of type of things on there.
The one that comes to mind, which is not at all relevant to work necessarily, was something about your value system. Do you have an internal value system where you have kind of this internal moral compass that you live by, or do you have a more external value system where the values of others kind of guide what you think is right and wrong?
Okay.
And I had never really thought about, I don't know, I couldn't answer the question. I was like, well, what other people think is right and wrong is is important to me, and then I also kind of know what's important, and I hadn't, so I had to kind of work it out. So I think. What's my train of thought?
It's fine. Happens to me every other second.
So going through that was really important, and really made me that's what I was talking about. So I had surrounded myself with really awesome people who are incredible, and I love all of them. But I think instead of knowing and kind of determining things for myself, I was taking more of the characteristics of the people around me and saying, well, I like doing this, or I think this way about this thing, that I hadn't really taken the time to think about in the absence of everyone else. If I'm really just by myself, what is it that I want? What is it that I like? What is it that I don't like? So that was a really great experience. And I ended up with a personality type. I'm not an ambiguous person. I have one. And it also, that's not the be all end all of your life, I know my personality type, and so I know everything about me. But what was really cool about that was reading through profiles of people with similar personality types. I could see a lot of myself in that, and I could see that, for example, my personality type, when I was looking through the types of jobs that are typically enjoyed by people, chemical engineering specifically was the bottom of the least desirable jobs, the very last one. And that's not to say that I shouldn't be a chemical engineer, because there's a lot more things about your life than just where you fall on Myers-Briggs. But
Absolutely.
I could see that there are some characteristics of being an engineer that I don't necessarily have as one of my super strong sets, like being super organized. And anyone who's walked by my desk or has seen my room will know that I don't live in a super organized state. But that works for me. And it's kind of an organized chaos. And if you come in and say, hey, Morgan, where is this one specific thing? I can tell you exactly where it is. It might not be obvious to you, but I know. So that's not a strong suit. But getting up and speaking extemporaneously, or being able to kind of spontaneously put something together, is something that I am really good at that other people might not be. And so it helps me kind of sort out, okay, these things that I've been feeling bad about not being really good at are things that are maybe not necessarily a strength for me, and that's okay. I can work on those things, but I don't need to feel like I'm deficient in those areas. And at the same time, I can look at these things that are generally not necessarily valued among people that I spend a lot of time with, but I'm actually really good at them, and so I can feel good about that and having confidence in those skills.
Yeah.
So that was a really great kind of self-discovery moment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like that Myers-Briggs, you suggest people to take that. I'm sure they can take that online, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't taken it, I do recommend taking it. If you have, people put different value in it. Some people just throw it to the side, some people live by it. I think there's a nice in-between where you can see, it's not going to tell you the secrets of your life, but for me, it was really helpful to see myself in other people and see, kind of just refocus myself on what my strengths are. And that gave me a little more confidence in moving towards the rest of it.
Great.
And kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. So.
I definitely see that, and growing up, when we're in school and things like that, we don't think about what we want. We just focus on what we need to learn, and I think there's a great importance of understanding, thinking to yourself and being conscious of saying, what do I like to do? And we don't do that because we're always worried about that next test. Yeah. But the importance of aligning, that'll help you align your career with your interests and what makes you tick. So
yeah,
sounds like you found that.
Working on it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. So really want to appreciate you for your time. Thanks for coming on,
Of course.
sharing that. Take care, guys.